Hello again. I'm aware that the NHS is something of a sacred cow in Britain and may not be criticised, but you have to ask yourself why other countries don't want to have a similar scheme. If it really is the pride and joy of the country and a huge success into the bargain, you'd think everybody else would like to have their own national health system. Why doesn't Germany want one, or Sweden, or Denmark, or Holland, or any of these other progressive countries? Well, they don't. The reason is very simple. Centralised systems dictated by a government and coordinated nationally are almost invariably unwieldy, expensive, and inefficient. This applies to centralised planning for industry, transport, medicine, or anything else. It's why the countries of the old Warsaw Pact in Eastern Europe used to be horribly bureaucratic and unable to do anything well. It's why the Soviet Union was so backward economically. Everything had to be controlled from Moscow. That's why there were shortages of razor blades or tractor tyres and so on in the remoter parts of Siberia, because it was Moscow that decided who needed what. Central governments like that. It's having control by central government saps efficiency. The NHS was set up by socialists, of course, which explains why it had to be a national service rather than a network of local ones, which was what used to exist. How can somebody in a city hundreds of miles away know what provision is suitable for some village or patch of countryside? Having local health authorities doesn't really help matters because they're all funded and controlled centrally from London. All else apart, it means thousands of office workers to run the system. This means in turn less money to spend on, well, health. It's great for civil servants, of course, and would make a good model for a communist country, but doesn't work brilliantly in a free society like Britain. We sometimes forget there was a health service before the NHS was founded, but it was not a national system. It was all run locally, and as a result, those operating the hospitals and so on knew better than people in London what was needed for their district. There was free healthcare for workers funded by national insurance contributions long before the NHS. Lloyd George set this up in 1911. There were free hospitals as well, the so-called voluntary hospitals. The element of the NHS which other countries dislike and will not copy under any circumstances is the compulsion. We have no choice about joining this insurance scheme. Even if we join a private scheme such as Bupa or simply have enough money to pay a consultant in Harley Street when we're ill, we still have to pay the national insurance scheme. And there you have it. It's an insurance scheme, but it's national rather than independent. It's run by the state. And that's how the NHS is funded. You can't opt out of it. If you earn money, you have to pay the national insurance contributions. In other European countries, one can choose whether to join a government-run scheme or a private one. The government schemes for health, are very slimmed down, not at all like the National Health Service. The competition between insurance schemes makes for greater efficiency, of course. Government monopolies, all monopolies where the government controls everything, make for inefficiency. They don't have to worry about being efficient because everybody has to join. It's Hobson's choice. You can't choose not to be in it, and so the organisation has no incentive to improve at all. There's something almost mystical about the NHS in Britain, and it would take a brave person to suggest that it was time we thought about dismantling it and making healthcare in Britain as efficient as it is in some other countries.